Hello guys, Bobby Drives here. So today I've got a BMW M3. That's right, another M3. However, this is a successor to the E46 M3 that I just did recently. I'll put the link up in my description and up here so you can watch it, E46 M3. This, however, is the newer one to that. This is the E90s. This particular being a convertible is actually classed as an E93. Don't worry, I'll get into those E numbers a little bit down the line in this video. It's a bit of BMW geeky terms and what we call them. But this particular M3 or this era is really special. It is an iconic M3 and it will become more of a collector's because this is the only M3 to date and probably for the foreseeable future, which is powered by an all naturally aspirated 4-litre V8. Think about that, a V8 in an M3. The first M3s, the E30, started with a 4-cylinder engine. This is double the cylinders, and yet the new M3s have gone back to a straight 6 and they've chucked on a couple of turbos. So this is very special. It's a gas guzzler, which is a downside. However, you will get that roar from that V8 engine. I absolutely love it. We're going to go around, check out the car from inside and outside, go for a drive and take it from there. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Do hit the bell notification button so you'll be notified for new videos. And please, please, please guys, if you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Any thumbs up, any likes really does expose my channel. It gives me much more support and I'll really be thankful for it. So let's crack on with the review. So guys, let's start with talking about its engine and its power. So like I mentioned, this is an all naturally aspirated 4-litre V8, no turbos chucked in. It produces 414 brake horsepower with 295 pounds of torque. Talking about its 0 to 60, now they all vary. So I'm going to start with the coupe, even though this is the convertible. The coupe with an automatic gearbox, the DCT, will get you 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. If it's a manual, it'll be 4.8 seconds. The 4-door saloon is 4.9 seconds. This being a convertible, it's slightly heavier because it's got a whole electronic roof. This in particular, which has the DCT gearbox, we get you 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds, although the owner has told me he's got it in sub 5s. If it was a manual, this would get you 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds. So yeah, loads of numbers guys, and sorry that's a bit confusing, but they do vary slightly. Unfortunately, there's not an estate version of this, which would be classed as the E91. A lot of people would love to have an M3 touring car. Unfortunately, I haven't done it, but watch your space. I think BMW are talking about doing a M3 touring car, so that should come out soon. Another thing I should mention, going back to the predecessor, the E46 M3, that was a straight 6, naturally aspirated again, no turbos. That produced 343 brake horsepower. This being the newer M3, which produces 414 brake horsepower, if my maths right, that's 71 brake horsepower more. And that's a huge jump. It's unheard of. Think about the E46. If you went to the era before that, the E36 M3, that came with 321 brake horsepower. So it added 22 brake horsepower jump to the E46. This, like I said, 71 brake horsepower jump. And funny enough, the newer M3s, which is a straight 6 with a couple of turbos chucked on them, it's only 10 brake horsepower more than this. So this is the middle ground one where it's had a superb jump in terms of power. Another thing I should mention is I do love the E46 M3, which you guys probably all know about. This is about a whole 15 centimeters longer than the M3. However, the M3 is, I checked it last, is about 6 centimeters wider, which is probably about that. All the newer cars nowadays are getting better with more advanced technology. So I did expect this to be a little bit bigger in terms of length compared to M3, but I didn't expect it to be narrower. The old M3 E46, especially with those big fat arches, is probably why it's that little bit wider. I'll also explain what the E91 or E92 all means. It's basically an internal code for BMW. A lot of BMW enthusiasts like me also understand what they are. So starting with the E90, which is just a normal 4-door saloon. The E91, which is the estate version, the touring. The E92, which is my BMW, I don't know if you've seen that review. That's the coupe version. Then you've got an E93, which is the convertible version. Oh, and guys, I forgot to mention, Top speed on this is electronically limited to 155 miles an hour. However, I have known for some of these M3s to get to 175, 100, even 180 miles without the limiter. And let's move on to economy. So guys, let's just forget about economy in this car. It's absolutely atrocious. I'm only joking, it's actually not that bad. So the current owner, he gets roughly around 25 miles to the gallon on this. To me, that actually seems too good. He does do a lot of motorway driving as well as town driving, but I think from personal experience you'd probably get more about 20 to 22 miles per gallon, because a lot of M3 owners do like to, put their foot down. Another thing I'd like to mention, this car revs out to 8,500 revs, so when you are at the top end you will see your petrol needle just start to drop. And talking about being 8,500 revs, guys, the way that this car sounds is absolutely phenomenal. Yes, I always talk about how much I love the E46 M3 sound. It's a very tinny sound. I hate to say it, I prefer this sound because it's a V8, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me. It's just got a really throaty, deep grumble bass tone. When I take it for a drive, you guys will be able to hear it. Another thing I haven't talked about yet is the styling of this car. Isn't it just beautiful? I love where you can see on the side of the doors, you've got a lot of flat profile, so then when the sun hits here, you get a lot of light rebounding off it. This colour is called Silverstone 2. It's like a really light, well, it's actually silver with like a hint of blue in it. So a beautiful colour. You've got 19-inch multi-spoke alloy wheels. They do come with an 18-inch option as well, which I don't really like. If I can find a picture, I'll put it in right now. But for me, I actually prefer these wheels. I think they're really nice. I also did some research last night to see what these cars are going for, so bear in mind this car is a 2008 plate. Can you believe it? This is actually 12 years old. It doesn't look like that from the outside, and also the technology inside is still up there today. But I did a research last night. The cheapest M3 I could find was a manual gearbox, and it was a coupe. That was going for £12,500, so they are going for really good prices nowadays. This car was listed brand new with all of the extras. I forgot to mention, guys, this car's got a lot of extras. This was listed at £66,000. I looked last night and you could buy an M3 very similar to this with the same sort of spec and a DCT gearbox for around £15,000. Bear in mind, it may not be the best example. Also, this is the standard M3. When I say standard, it's the M3 that you get. You can get an M3 competition package. It's about £3,500 extra. It doesn't change anything mechanically. You get CSL wheels on it. It sits 10mm closer to the ground. Makes the car look a little bit more aggressive, and it's not bad for £3,500 extra. So that's one option. Then you can also go for a limited edition version where they've only made 500 of those in the UK. It's more towards when this line was ending before the new M3s came out, just to keep them a bit more special and a bit more going. And with the limited edition, you can get them in three colours: the Motor Red, something white, and Santorini Blue. What's really nice, your stitching inside will match the colour that you got on the outside, and you get laser cut engraved on the dashboard to say 1 of 500. Again, mechanically, it doesn't actually change the engine. The third option is the M3 GTS. Now that's got 444 brake horsepower. It's had the seats ripped out in the back. It's basically the M3 CSL equivalent in E46, stripped out, more of a track focused car. The signature colour for that car is a bright orange. And don't be fooled, guys, a lot of people want to go for the competition package or the limited edition version because they think they're faster. They're not. All of these M3 competition and the limited edition all share the same 414 brake horsepower. The competition will be a bit quicker on the track because you have got upgraded suspension and upgraded electronic pack, so it makes the throttle a bit more responsive, and it sits that little bit closer to the road, so your centre of gravity is a little bit lower. So that might be a bit better on the track, but in terms of power, it's exactly the same. Even with a limited edition, it's exactly the same power. One thing I like about this M3 are the side signals. So you've got your indicator here and you've got the M3 logo, and it just looks really sporty. The E46 had 3 lines going across with the M3 logo, but this is an updated version with it, and I like how they've integrated the turn signal with the sign. Another thing to point out are these brilliant wing mirrors. I think they're slightly over-engineered, but they're just a stunning design. It's connected down here, if you can see, and it's also connected up here. Or is it? As soon as I lock the car, you'll see they close, but they're no longer connected. Let me grab the camera so you can see. If you look here, let me unlock it again. This bar will join up, so it looks like they are connected. But the reason why it is a little gap in between. It's just, if you see it, when I lock it, if it was connected, the wing mirrors would not be able to close. But I think, yeah, the wing mirrors are just a masterpiece. And as I mentioned, this car has a lot of extras. Starting with, it's got a comfort access. So the key's in my pocket. I don't actually need to unlock the car. I can just grab the handle and the car unlocks itself, which is brilliant. There's actually like 3 lines here where it detects your thumb. Also, a lot of BMW owners know this. With your key, you can close the windows or open the windows by just holding the buttons down. Here, I can just hold the handle and it does the windows for me, along with the wing mirrors again. Fantastic. One thing I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to take the windows down again because there's one thing I really love with this car. It's totally pillarless. So I can go all the way across if I want to grab something from here or grab something from here. It's just easy. I'm going to show you one more other thing, but I'm going to have to take the camera back for this. Check how cool this is, guys. So the window's already down, the car's unlocked. If I double tap unlock, watch what happens. Didn't work. Let's try again. I just realised why the roof is not going down, because there's a hatch in the boot that I have to bring down before I bring the roof. Just hold on. Now watch this, guys. Just look at that. Sorry about the helicopter, but look, it's a totally different car. It's now a convertible. I just think that's such a nice touch. Just with the key you can do that, and again you can reverse it. If I hold the button, I love this part now where it spreads into 3 different parts. How cool is that? Love it. And guys, here's the boot. So this being a convertible, it's less space than a coupe. This has 330 litres, still a good size, but there was a reason why I couldn't get the roof down before. As now you can see, for a convertible, it's quite a good amount of space. However, when you want to bring the roof down, there's a latch here that you have to pull. Now the roof, when it comes down, sits on this, meaning you've only got this space underneath. But when the roof is up and you're not looking all cool with your shades on and the roof down, you can push this back up and you've got quite a bit of storage. So well thought that is. Another thing to mention, this being a convertible, you do get a soft closing boot. So you've just got to literally put it down and then it closes itself. You only get that in convertibles, you don't get in the saloons, coupes or the touring, so that's quite special. Another thing to point out, now a lot of cars have these hoofs or like bumps on the bonnet to make it look really aggressive and really sporty, but a lot of them actually don't have any use. However, this M3 does have a use. That bump there, the engine's actually right underneath it. Let me show you. And if you can see the engine itself, you can see it actually sits a lot taller than the side panels. So that hoof or bump, whatever it's called, is actually definitely needed because this engine is so big. And whilst we're here, I'll show you the engine. And there's a view off the engine bay. Now you can see that big fat V8 in the middle, really impressive. I don't know how they've got that engine into this bay, because if you have a look, everything is so tight. There's not much space to work in this engine if things go wrong. Purposeful. Another feature of this car are the quad exhausts. So again, the E46 had it and the newer M3 has them, but yeah, absolutely love them. They're slightly a bit bigger than M3 E46, and this being the V8, it's got real good grumble, so let's hear what it sounds like. Don't you just love it? And I love it when I initially put the revs, it goes pop, 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 pop. It's like it sounds like it's misfiring, but it's not. That's the way these V8 sound. As soon as you go past that, it just screams. So let's see what it's like on the road. So guys, let's check out the car from the inside. First off, let me just give it a few more revs. Wow, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's switch this off. So I'm not going to talk too much about it inside because this is effectively the same cockpit as my 330 E93. I'll put the link in the description, you can watch that, that's more in depth. But just quickly, you've got a multi-function steering wheel. The paddle shifts are metal. Yes, they're actually solid metal, and they light up at night with the minus and a plus, so it's really easy to spot them. You do have a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, which is a DCT. Again, you can control the gears by going up and down, or you can push it to the right and then it goes into automatic, which is absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, it doesn't have park, so when you do park the car up at night, you've got to ensure your handbrake is up, but then you've got to actually put it in either reverse or drive, so it actually engages a gear just in case if the handbrake snaps. Then you've got your 4 electric windows. You've actually got one button which controls all 4 because this is a convertible, so you could press one button, brings all the windows up together. You've got your normal CD, your dual climate control, your entertainment screen which has sat nav, you know, music, radio. This dial in the middle forms part of the iDrive. Now this is the first BMW era with an iDrive, so they're not really responsive. It's not all that good. There's nothing much for me to really mention which is special, but back in those days 12 years ago, it's really good. I've got the LCI facelift BMW, so I've got a better iDrive system, but this still works really good. One thing to note, guys, you can connect your phone to this, so you can have Bluetooth phone calls, but you can't connect your music. If you want to connect your music to this, you will have to use auxiliary cable. Where music becomes connected via Bluetooth is when you get the LCI facelifts, which is a 2010 plate onwards. But what I really do like about this car are the dials. So being the M3 that upgraded, they are like a stainless steel or like a chrome effect silver, and it actually goes up to 200 miles per hour. It says on a dashboard, which is super fast, but the needles are red, so that again makes it a bit more sporty. A few other bits, you've got 2 cup holders. One's all the way over here for the passenger. The driver's side is over here, so it hangs over the passenger because it was kind of thought maybe afterwards, so but at least you still have 2 cup holders. However, you actually have a 3rd cup hold. So in the armrest, if you lift it, there's another cup holder here, and there's actually a switch. So if I turn that switch on, I can put a cold drink into it and it keeps it cool. It's an air conditioned cup, and that's fantastic. You've got your USB input, your auxiliary input if you want to listen to your music, a cigarette lighter. What's also really nice in the back, now BMW, they tend to have a central console where it's just got 3 bits of storage. This one, for some reason, the middle one, if you press it, it's actually got 2 more cup holders. So the funny thing is, this is a 4-seater car. It only has 4 seat belts, but you've got 5 cup holders. Another thing I like to mention, this is extended soft leather. It's super soft. It's really good quality. This also has the upgraded sound system, so it's a BMW premium system. The owner told me apparently it's better than the Harman Kardon systems that you get in here. And that was a £3,500 upgrade just for the sound system. Going back to the armrest, now this is quite funny. So it's divided into 2, so you've got like the passenger side and the driver's side. A lot of car reviews I watched purely put it down to that it's just divided, so passenger side, driver's side. That's not the case. The reason why it's divided is that the driver's side can actually go forward or back, and I think a lot of people, not a lot of people actually know that, but just remember guys, the reason why these are divided is so the driver's side, you can adjust it. Now just behind the gear lever, you do have an up and down button where it's got like a bar, and what that is, the lower the bar is, the slower it takes for the gears to engage as you go up or down. The higher it is, the more quicker the gears will go from gear 1 to gear 2 to gear 3 or downward. So that's like the velocity of how quickly the gears will engage or disengage. To the side of the gear lever, you've got 3 buttons here. So you've got power. If you press power, it just simply makes the throttle response a lot sharper, a lot quicker. Then you've got EDC, which is actually an extra in this car. It's about £1,600 extra. It's electronic damping control, and it just basically stiffens up the steering wheel, the suspension, makes it a bit more solid to the ground. So that's a really good extra. If you are going on a track, then you definitely want an M3 which has got the EDC. The button next to it is just your traction control. So if you want to do some wheel spins, just hold that down for 5 seconds so it turns off completely, and then all the power goes to the rear wheels without any interruptions. Also on the steering wheel, you do have the M button. Now the M button is a sequence of this all. So I can go into the iDrive and I can program what I want this M button to be. So maybe I want to have the power on, I want EDC on level 1, not maybe level 2, but I want the steering to be soft. I can program all with that button. So say I'm out at the traffic lights and another fast car pulls up, I can press that. It will get the car into almost race mode, so you're ready to go. So guys, let's go for a drive. I'm gonna open the windows. so you can hear. Can't say much because I'm just, like I said, I'm always concentrating on this. What a beaut. I'm going to put the power on. See, that makes such a difference. But from the outset, guys, I absolutely love the way this car puts the power down. And that's what you get, not being turboed and being naturally aspirated. The power just kicks in straight away, like seriously straight away. So I'm going to put it into 1. Like I said, this car revs out like super. 8,500 revs. It's just crazy. I haven't got much to say because I'm just enjoying driving this car. But like I said, yeah, 7-speed dual clutch, so that's why the gears are so primed and ready compared to the E46. The E46 would be a slight delay and it would take a little bit while for the gears to change, but not in this. This is almost like instant, so it's super quick. I really love how I've got this button here for all the 4 windows, so I can just press one button and it brings all the windows up together. But I really want you to hear the downshifts because it actually matches the revs for you. So look, I'm in gear 3. So I'm in gear 3, I'm gonna go down to gear 2. Can you hear that? Let's do that again. Gear 3 to gear 2. Whoa. Right guys, let's put the foot down. Let's go. Yeah, so like I said, I think my 330 would keep up with the E46 M3, not this one. So guys, one thing I'd say, this car having only 295 pounds of torque, it's not the most fastest in your low range on the revs. So if you're doing 2,500 revs, 3,000 revs and you put your foot down, don't expect it to go flying because it doesn't. This car starts to blow and whistle when you go past, say, 4,500 revs. As soon as you get past that sort of revs, the car just absolutely bolts down the road. That's the best way to say it. It's like Usain Bolt down the road. And that's the only thing, like, you know, going back to my 330 diesel, that's got almost 400 pounds of torque, so it's got over 100 pounds torque more of this. So if I'm at low range and the revs and I put my foot down, it will just start going because it's that torque. This car, you have to get it into the right power band, which I'd probably say is about 4,000 onwards, but then like I said, it just whistles and it goes. Right, that's it guys. I love the way the engine builds up. Keeps going. Super fast this is. Wow, the car just rockets. I'm going to do the rev match, we'll drop to gear 2. This is uphill. Absolutely just goes. I wish I just had a track to myself. I'll tell you one thing, even from this 10 minutes of putting my foot down, that red needle, the petrol needle, has seriously gone down. Going from first into reverse, it can be a little bit dopey. The gearbox does take a bit of time. Gear 1, flattening. So guys, that brings us to the end of my review. I hope you really liked it. I absolutely love this car. Just taking it out for a drive then and hearing that V8 rumble and taking it all the way to 8,500 revs, this car just screams. I mean, I looked into gear 2, I was doing 20 miles an hour, I put my foot down and I got above 60. Still locked in gear 2, so there's a lot of power in this car. Yes, I still do love the E46 M3, that's always going to be a special car to me, but I equally love this. If I had to choose between the two, I may now go for this. It shows how loyal I am. But no, the reason why I would, because it's newer, it's probably more reliable, probably a little bit more economical, and it's got that V8 engine lump in there. So for that reason, I would probably go for this. But you guys out there who still love the E46, I'm with you. Still love that car and I always will do. But if you are looking to buy one of these, just remember, do your homework. Just make sure it's got good service history. When you go see the car, go with your gut, as I always say. If it looks a bit trashed and has been thrashed around, stay away from it. There's plenty on the market. But that's the end of the review, guys. If you are new to my channel, please do subscribe. Do hit the bell notification button so you'll be notified for all my new videos. And please, please, please do smash the likes button. Any likes does really help expose the channel. It helps it grow, and I'll have more cars on here in the future. So I really appreciate that. But until next time, keep safe and I'll see you then.